front end part using Bootstrap. Now I'm today going to work with the back end part. So today I'm going to show you how you can integrate your form with the back end part. So today we are going to basically work with the forms using two methods. One is the request method on a local machine and try out the things. So I'll move to my server here. So I had defined a form using my form. So this is the form we had made in the previous lecture. So today what I'm going to do, so this is I'll create a button in this form first. So I'll type div class is equal to form group. Here you can see I've defined a form group for each input element. So form group. Okay, now I'll define a button. So this button should be type is equal to submit, because I'm going to submit this form, and what I'll define a class is equal to button primary, and this would give me the default color of the button, and I'll type this submit as the button value to be shown on the front end part. So I'll move to this page, and so this is my button. I'll right click here quickly to inspect what changes I can do to make this more responsive and better. So I'll do margin 0 auto. So this is the margin 0 auto is done to center the element. So this doesn't work. I'll try display block. Yeah, this works. So I'll copy this CSS quickly, and I'll create a style element here, style, and I'll quickly copy this and paste it here, and this looks pretty fine. So I'll refresh this page. Yeah, now the button, okay, now now the button is in the center, and now till now I've only defined the form, and two things I'm missing in this form is one is the method and another is the action. So how you can work with these two things, so we are going to cover in this tutorial. First I'll go to my views.py file and then yours.py. So I'll define a path here, path submit my form, and what I'm going to do, submit my form is going to be URL where I'm going to submit the form, and views dot submit my form, and name is equal to submit my form. Okay, now this looks pretty fine. So I have not defined I'll define a submit my form in method in my view file. So I'll go to quickly go here, def submit request. I'll take request as a parameter, and first I'll do return HTTP response, or let me do one thing. Okay, I'll define my dictionary here, and var1, I'll define a var1, var2, var3. What I'll do, request dot method. This would be the value of my var3. Okay, and okay, I'll do one thing. I'll keep this as method, and this would be request dot method. Okay, so and I'll define a JSON response of my dictionary. I'll quickly cover all this thing. So what I'm going to do, this was my form. So I'll define first a action. I'll define a method here, and that method first we will work with the get method and then the post method. Okay guys, so this is the get method here, and get method and post method have a difference. So we'll get this in our tutorial. What's the difference between the two? First is the get, and I'll define an action. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the shorthand property to how to specify a URL. I'll define person URL. Okay, person URL, and then a person sign. So you can be a little bit familiar with this. So I've defined a shorthand notation, curly braces, person URL. Then I'll define a name between these single quotes, this is person sign, then the curly braces. Okay, I need to define the name where I have to submit and pass this form, and the name should be this. Name is equal to submit my form, and I need to submit my form to this route which has having the name submit my form. Okay, so I'll go here. So now I think this is pretty fine. So I have defined a URL to submit my form, and this form will be submitted to that, okay, that route. Now I have method defined, the method as get, and action is this. Okay, now what I'm having an error, and that is I've not defined the value of my keys in my dictionary. So what you can do, okay, first what I'll do, I'll comment this out and comment this out. Okay, so first I'll show you one thing. Okay, line, I'm having an error, viewers.py line 2. Okay, I'm having some error, let me check. Okay, no, okay, now it's pretty fine. Sorry. So okay, now it's fine. Okay, so my form is ready to being submit. So what I'm going to do, first I've only made a request on method. So what I'm going to do, I'll make a test. Okay, I'll make a different value, test debug. Now I'll submit my form. Now what you can see here, okay, let me, I'm having some issue in my form. Okay, dev submit, my URL has been defined and method has been get. Okay, okay, I defined a URL. Okay, submit my form, and I'll refresh this page, test debug. Yeah, now this is pretty fine. Okay, so now this is fine, totally fine. Okay, I had some issues, so I restarted my server. Now it's pretty fine. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you that I'll quickly cover up the things. I defined a URL, submit my form, then this is my URL, and now I have defined the action to this URL, so I'm referring here, and method was get. So as soon as I went to this URL, a views.submit my form was called. So when I went here, what I saw, I returned a dictionary, a JSON response only mentioning the method. So this method was basically get method. So what I got here, the method is get. Okay, so how you can derive the values? So this is the var1 and var2. So what I, okay, so the main important thing what I'm going to do, so what you can see in the get method, you can see the name of the response. Okay, sorry, the parameters which are being passed here. So I had my text which I had put the data as test, and I had my text area which I had put the data as debug. Okay, so here you can see the name of the variables. So these variables are being separated by a question mark, and the route is being submit my form. Okay, so what I'm going to do, how you can use these values, request dot get, and the first is my text. Okay, and this is the variable I'm being referred, and another is my text area. Okay, now I'll do one thing. I'm missing a comma sign, so that's why it's showing me an error. Now this is pretty fine. Okay, request dot okay, I'm also missing a comma sign here. Okay, now it's fine. Okay, now I'll move to my form, and I'll type new data, new debug. Now here you can see var1 is not defined, var1 is not defined. Okay, why is it throwing me an error? Okay. So this is okay. Okay, I'll define new data, new debug, and I'll submit this form. Yeah, now this is pretty fine. Okay, so uh, I apologize for all the errors. Okay, now this is pretty fine. So here you can see I move to this route, submit my form, and the parameters being my text, which has this data, new data. You can see here. Okay, this now this is cool. And then I had another parameter, my text area. Here you can see with the values new debug. Now here you can see this is new debug. Okay, and the method is get. Okay, so this is the difference. Here you can see the parameters on the upper hand. So here you can see on the route the parameters are being visible to you. So this is the first property of the get method. So now another thing we are going to do, we are going to change this method to post. Okay, so this is post. Okay, now what I'm going to do, request dot post. So this would be post request dot post. Okay, so this is the another change I'm going to do. Now the difference between the two, first the method gets changed, and now the variables on this route won't be visible on the post method. Okay, so I go my form. Okay, I'll type some Python here, Python Django framework. Now I'll submit this form. Okay, now it says CRF verification failed because when you submit a form with the post method, you need to define a CRF token. So I quickly type %CRF underscore token, and this looks, now this is fine. Okay, so I'll make a submission here. Okay, I'm using an error. Okay, %CRF token. Okay, I made a mistake. Sorry, I made a mistake with the two curly braces. Sorry, I'm really sorry for this. So now this looks pretty fine. So I'll go back to my form. This is Python Django framework. Okay, now this is still showing me an error. Okay, I'll refresh this. Python Django, and now I'll submit this. Okay, now this is fine. Sorry, so here you can see now the variables are being not there on the route. So the variable parameters are not there, so that's being hidden in the post method. Plus you have a CRF token here. Okay, so I had some issues, so I restarted my server. This is var1 with the Python, var2 with the Python Django. So these are some what we call them as hidden characters. So I'll tell you how you can clean this data, and this method is post. So basically we work with the get method and the post method in this tutorial, and next in the next upcoming tutorials we are going to work with the database. So thank you guys, thank you so much.